Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back, Space Engineers. I'm your host, Quantum Tater. Quantum Tater, say hello. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. And shout out John Bray. Shout out John Bray, Clyde, and Chad in this moment. This one's going to come in a little early. This is the last and final episode, episode 8 of the Apex Survival Kit. I did some off-screen build-up of the farm so you guys get an idea of what I would think what that would look like. I also, Mr. Clyde, welcome back to the chat, um, basically said that there's a wolves to boars mod that replaces wolves with boars. Um, the only thing that kills crops on Earth is heavy cold. Fruit takes the longest and the most water to grow. Earth animals also give you meat. So, thank you for that. I went and downloaded it. It is by, shout out to Chipsticks213 for doing that. I appreciate it. I put it in and actually just heard a boar. I was set to untargetable because I was tired of fighting wolves. And honestly, you know, that's what it is. Chad said base building is constant evolution for everybody. Welcome to Space Engineers. Basically, you like build it up, then you break it down, change it, modify, expand, because you don't always have all the resources you need to get going um, in the present time. So I'm still untargetable, but we are going to go to weather really quick. We're going to clear up this weather. Why? Because we got stuff to show. Ah, there's one. So here, that's actually just a wolf. That's Kevin. Hi, Kevin. I right at the beginning of this, I definitely heard a wolf, so that's fascinating. Um, so here's what I've done. This is what I imagine an Earth-like installment might look like. We have solar up top with multiple, what is it, 7 algae farms, so that we at least have those basic foods coming in whilst we wait for stuff to grow. Little ramp area for the vehicle. Ow, hurt myself. Little ramp area for the mantis shrimp to come up here. I rearranged. We got a full size guy here, assembler. I even put a speed mod. I started to build it up, and then a recharge station because this is slow. And this would just be my recharge. This would just be for health and respawn. Go ahead and get this thing at full health. I know food also gets you full health, but yeah. So basically, Chad also gave me a quick rundown on that. And here's my turret controller for the solar panels up there. Chad gave me a rundown on kind of the wheel situation, strength, frictions, things like that. I honestly, Chad, I need to spend more time practicing with this. This episode is going to come out on Saturday morning. I'm not streaming this week. I have a wedding shower to do, which is exciting. Um, and then he talked about speed limits, different things for wheel settings. It's all kind of go at your own risk and test it. I just never mess with it. Truthfully, I never mess with it. But starting at like a 50 to 60%, that time I definitely heard a wolf, boar. So that was a noise that was made. I don't know where this thing's at, but I plan to do something funny with that sound. It actually just looks like a wolf, even though it's supposed to be a boar. Huh. I wonder if there's something else you need. So subscribe. Go ahead, chase it. Hopefully the animal gives up because before you do. Hungry. Hear a rustle in the bushes. It might be a tasty pork treat, but be careful, it bites. Places wolf bot model with boar will replace anything a wolf used to spawn. Uses the existing wolf loot table. Needs bacon and cooked bacon items. Oh, so it still looks like a wolf to me, which is fine, but it does make boar noises, which is kind of hilarious. Anyway, so moving on. So Chad kind of gave me the rundown on that kind of stuff. I made little window winds. I just like the idea of this being sort of like a sort of enclosed space. Obviously, we're on Earth, so weather, that kind of stuff's not really a big deal. There's no lighting, so not fully finished. I definitely set this up to be airlocked, so if you did want to use this on a planet, you probably could. So I have um, come in here, and we've got ourselves a bed to sleep the nights away, which is always useful. We've got our food processing table, we've got our ice processing table, and then we have this cargo container that I've set up with that static drill right there. We're using the resource mod. Basically, when that'll mine and mine and mine, and when this gets below 46%, what'll happen is it'll start mining again to fill up. So that way this thing never runs out of water. Got a nice little cooking area, another unfinished recharge station, but you can come back here. Got the ice machine for getting your drinks ready, cook. order up, and then you can have dinner with your buddies, sit by yourself, or just sit on the couch because you don't want to eat. And then if we come upstairs, we have our lovely things. We've got vegetables, fruits, one thing of mushrooms because they grow so fast, and wheat, which we have not currently finished out. But you can see each one of these 100% water. Growth process is healthy. Yeah, so this is our sort of our greenhouse. What I kind of wanted to do with it, what the idea that I had. I don't know, it's kind of nice. Just sit here and you can hang out. There's no TV or anything, so you gotta, be sociable with people. Sit awkwardly close to this guy and stare at him vacantly, dead, cold eyes. Anyways, yeah. So that's kind of what this is my vision for this type of this situation. This is what I wanted it to look like a little bit. I don't even think I welded up all the things. I did not, but there you go. So there's that, and then I had these big steel rafter things just to make it look a little bit more put together and pieced together. I did add some real wheel, real weir. Oh my gosh, real. I really can't talk. Rear wheel steering to the mantis shrimp so that like it could do a little bit of its own thing. What I would on both back wheels, that way it can turn a little bit sharper, nothing too crazy. What I will say is when you have these, the first thing I would recommend doing, I think Splitsy recommends this as well. Switch this from park on off to handbrake on and off. That way, like it's only turning on the handbrake and it is not messing with the park button. Obviously, we've got turbo boosters. For some reason, my atmospheric group is not listing all the atmospheric thrusters. I don't know why. We only have a few, but for whatever reason, this is not turning them all off. So something's going on there. Atmo, let's do this. Off, off. Okay, there we go. Now we need to crank them on. Nope, look at that. Still. What is going on here? For some reason, that is not turning on and off with the rest of the ship. I don't really know why. That's strange. Yeah, still not turning them on. That is... What is going on there? I feel like it has something to do with this. Let's do this. Clear that out. Toggle block on off. Atmo. There we go. I don't know what the hell that was doing. Something weird. So yeah, this has got an event controller to get this thing all set up. This thing, I think, is a pretty good little ground miner. I think it does a great job after I figured out all those problems. Like I said, oh, we're going to pop over. So that's kind of what I want the base to look like. I know that, like, let's go get a resource drop. Let's go over here to the iron mine. Ooh, we're drifting a little. And we're going to go get ourselves some more iron and see if we can't mess around with this. I feel like I'm in danger. I definitely don't play, like, so what Chad was saying, and let's go ahead and parking brake on. What Chad was saying is basically take all the wheels and start them off at strength, or at power, like 50. That way you got some threshold to go up. And then speed limit, 100 kilometers an hour. I think that's pretty okay. Friction, what was he saying? I think he said friction essentially start in the, like you want your height offset to be pretty much as low as possible to prevent from grounding out. So I think 30 is a good stock height. I think that's a good offset. And then I think about friction basically going up as the needs of the surface meet, that kind of thing. And then he mentioned, if you're a short wheelbase, you want less steering angle. You don't want to be able to turn too hard, especially in the stock rover, because it uses these short wheelbase items. It definitely can roll fairly easy, and I've seen that happen a few times. Hey, wild fruit. I was thinking, hey, wild vegetables, but it's not. So, one of the things that I just don't spend enough time in rovers, I think. And then Chad also gave me tip advice, basically just stick an interior turret around the different parts of the base. And even though it's not piped up, like they'll shoot the animals for me, so I don't have to shoot wolves, which is not a bad idea. I still don't want the wolf noise. I don't like listening to them get murked, so I think I just have decided we're gonna go no wolves, which is why I got that board mod, although it seems to be a little glitched out right now, so we're gonna see how that goes. Um, I think one of the things I sort of take for granted, I think on occasion is how useful a rover can be, because I get so like rovers, no matter how useful they are, which they can be pretty dang useful. I'm not gonna lie, they definitely work quite well. But especially like when you talk about, like, you remember the old spawn pods, those things are not very good, and so a rover definitely does about 4 times the work of our dear old spawn pod that you had to convert into something. So I think, all right, that's not even a full load. Well, we're pretty close to a full load. Let's go ahead and pull this thing up. Now, Chad was saying, if I'm in here like so. So first thing you can do is I probably could go ahead and to this page right here. Let's go ahead and get the brakes on. What I could probably do, let's go ahead and go here. We're gonna add all the wheels to a group. Let's get all those wheels in a group. Wheels. And then what I can do from here, I can go to these wheel groups and I can say increase friction, decrease friction. And then I can increase, is it power or is it strength? It's power. And decrease power, right? Where's the other? Okay. So then what we can do is we can say, all right, let's give us some more power because we were already struggling. So let's go ahead and go here. So, and we're pretty full. So this is where we got stuck last time. Just keep giving it more of the juice. And then, wow, just like that, this thing just rolls right out. Man, that makes me look like a chump. Okay, you know what? We're gonna go back in. We're gonna let's knock this down to like 39, because it's initially at 30, I think. So let's get some more ore real quick. I want to really tap this thing out. So let's go ahead and go here. I haven't even got these things to. So let's see. Get ourselves some more ore. We're just gonna fill up. We're gonna be at. I think last time I said I was at 57 kilos. There we go. That's plenty right there. Plenty of kilo-age. So now we are clearly not moving, but we're also in transit. So let's give this second. Let's give it a second. Go ahead and move back in there. Uh-oh. We're in danger. You know what we're about to do? We're about to... There we go. Aha, not in danger anymore, bruh. Okay. So now that we've got that up, let's go ahead. Now we're going to reverse. You can tell we're reversing because we have our things on. So let's go ahead and crank up that strength. First things first, we crank up the strength. So we're at about 50% strength. Okay. Is that all we're going to need is strength? 54%. Go ahead and get some chutzpah. Give it a little bit more. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it's... God, Chad, you're right. That is a C- worthy. You are correct. And that's not even touching friction past 40. And we're just rolling right out of this bad boy. No problems. Like there's a little bit of a hiccup there, but like even then, like just rolled right out. Son of a biznatch. Would you look at that? Well, damn, you guys school me every time I get into this game. Every single time. Clyde tosses me a board mod without even having to think about it. Chad's giving me the wheel basics. John's giving me a hard time. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. All right, let's go back over here real quick. And then shout out to John. He said good job. basically that I'm consistent when it comes to running away from everything. And then he said, as he throws a plushie at me, and I squeal and scamper. Good job. I wasn't drink. Oh, and oh, you said scarper. Is that an English thing or is that meant to be scamper? Good job. I wasn't drinking. And no, just for the record, no shame whatsoever. I can't wait to see. And then he said he can't wait for me to yeet. And that's what part of this is about. I'm showing off what we're doing here because it's time to yeet a rover at a planet. Now, let's go ahead and get down here. We are cruising at a clip. Oh, maybe give a little breaky break so we're not drifting across this ice lake and destroying everything I hold dear. Well, not everything, but quite a bit of what I hold dear. And we should only have to have a 40-point turnaround when we come up here. I'm definitely going to up the radiation. I think radiation medium. We'll start with radiation light and see how it goes, and then we're going to go to radiation whatever. Now, I've been playing around a little bit inside the old game, just trying to get some stuff set up and test mods. Oh, that was such an easier amount of turnaround. And I will say I still haven't gotten spiders to spawn, so I don't know what's going on there. I've disabled some mods, so we're gonna see if we can't. Come on, back it up a little bit. Something's going on here. Oh, we're on fire. That's what's going on. How did that happen? Probably... Nope, I don't know how it happened. Quite a bit got damaged back here. Good grief. Alright, which one of you guys broke my ship? Oh, not the cargo container too. Good grief. I wonder what did that damage. Huh. Weird. A lot of it got damaged. That's crazy. Well, there you go. Always the eventful thing. This is my wrap-up episode, and I'm breaking shit, so that's brilliant. I don't know why I put that camera there. I honestly don't know. I have no idea. Anyways, so let's go ahead and back it up. We got 5.5. Proximity. Get that thing set up. Boom, we got some stuff. We got all that good. Anyway, so that's the mana shrimp. I think it's cool. I kind of like it. I don't remember how to get the respawn thing to turn off of this thing, so I need to figure out how to blueprint this and kind of make it my own shebang. So that's it. Yeah, this is kind of the walk around. This is the greenhouse. That's way more glass than I probably needed. I could have gone with way less and maybe done some different designs up top, but I just went kind of a little ham, thinking like, oh, it's a greenhouse. It needs to be green, even though these plants don't need light I believe Chad had told me that they don't need light. So, talking about the 2025 series, I think what I want to do is instead of getting plants and stuff from unknown signals, now when we're on the planet, we can grab unknown signal like seeds and stuff if we find them. But in space, not collecting any of those things, because if we do that, if we get unknown signals, then I feel like then we never have to go to a planet, and I don't want to do that. So my plan is to 100% make sure that we don't do that. So we're getting all of our veggies. There's got to be a fast way to do this. I think I was watching... I'll have to go get some more... I'll get some more seeds and we'll walk through something I saw in Pandemic Playground. But one of the things I did think was cool, like if you want... Okay, these are going to be vegetables. So you can say... veg farm plot, right? And I didn't know this, but you can change the color of those things. So if we come down here and we say veg farm plot, you can change the color of the grow lights to be green. So you can say like, oh, I want this to be kind of a like a plant green color, and then I can come up here, I can copy these settings, copy all, and then I can paste it onto all the ones that are going to be vegetables, and it doesn't paste it at all, which is weird. Copy all. Huh. I guess the light settings are only in one spot, but you can change the color of them. Apparently not in build vision, which is strange. Let's see, does it let you change it here? No? Weird. Anyways, so I think that's kind of cool. You can change those colors. You can say like, oh, I want the fruit ones to be red. I want those to be that color. So let's run around to the back really quick. We're going to pop into our food processor. We're going to say this, 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 this. So I have one seed there. I need, what do we need? We need at least, what do we have total? On this side of the fence, we should have meal pack, hardtack. We're not going to eat anything. Got one mushroom, so we need one mushroom, which we've got. So we need 2 more wheats, 3 fruits, or 4 fruits, 4 veggies. So let's go here. We go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 more wheats. Come in here. We can grab those. And go up here and get planted. Now, we even have meat aboard, and I know that's not technically boar meat, but that's okay. So now, one of the things, I think it's Pandemic Playground said this, like a quick way to plant this if you wanted to go faster without using a mod. What you can do apparently is you do tab, tab, nope. So you'd click it, tab, space, and that does that. And then you click tab, space, click tab, space. And this will allow you to quickly throw stuff down. I will say that also gives you an opportunity to screw up. But if you just plant something in the wrong box, you just wait for it to finish and then you go about your day. So that's not bad. So you click the item you want, hit tab, hit space, and that'll press the plant button, and then bada boom, bada bing, you have planted your guy. And look at that. We are fully planted. Now, let's go see what we can make with all of our sweet, sweet, tasty foods that I can't jump off of here for. Yeah. I believe we can make just about everything. We can just eat. I want to make the best dinner we got. Frontier stew. We can't make frontier stew because we don't have. So we need to cook all the mammal meat, which is pretty awful. What does we got? How many do we have? Let's assume we have almost 10. So that's 10 it is. So we're going to get these guys cooking, and then we can make ourselves, we're going to make a burrito, a lasagna. We're going ham here. We can make everything we're going to need to make, except for the bug food. And that's pretty good. That's literally everything. Steak dinner. I wish we could make the banana beef, guys. I know, it's sad that we can't. It's truly an epidemic that banana beef can't be crafted on our behalf. But that's okay. Oh, okay. So there we go. 9 of those. So let's go ahead and make ourselves a burrito, lasagna, steak dinner. Those are the big ones. What do we not have for this? We're missing grain. So we're out of grain for that. We can make ourselves some dumplings, though. I love some good dumplings. We're going to be out of curry. I think we're now out of vegetables. So one of the things John was saying, Mr. Bray was saying that, like, basically the farm tends to get better and you basically replant, you harvest everything you do, and you just, and this is very similar to Valheim, basically, where you get stuff, you plant a bunch of seeds. You get stuff, you plant a bunch of seeds, so you're eating crappy food until you get into a surplus of seeds. And that's honestly what I would do here. If we were going to stick in this series a little bit longer, I 100% would make sure that I'm just sitting here forever and ever. Now, we can reach into our storage facility, and we can say, I would like to have myself some lasagna. And even though I'm not hungry enough for a whole lasagna, I'm like Garfield. So we're just going to crank that out. And now we're going to be fully fed and healed. It doesn't give you energy, which isn't surprising because lasagna is not good for energy, but neither here nor there. And yeah, that's it. I mean, that's farming. So that's the Apex stuff in and of itself. Now, this obviously is enclosed. If we were on a place where that was an issue, I have to say, I'm still a little bit baffled how well the wheels thing worked with Chad. So power and friction really is the whole thing. Powers and friction. Good grief. Alrighty, so yeah, this is the farm. This would be Outpost something. I don't know. We'd have to come up with an interesting name for it. It's pretty boxy. I feel like it's like day one Space Engineers build. Now, we're going to hop over to my test save. I want to show you a couple of things I'm working on, including the very next, I published another thing to to my workshop. I put it. It'll be in the description of this video, but I also put it as a super secret in the last description, and it is an atmospheric miner I have dubbed the B.O.R.E. We go over here. We say files I've posted, and here's the B.O.R.E. And then we're gonna go take a look at that, and I will give you that tour. So I'll catch you here in just a second as I load into that other game. Hello again. We're back with Simulation Tater. Meh, I don't know. That's a work in progress. So this is where I screw around. We're trying to figure stuff out. I've got quite a few things. This was my, I was going to convert the starting rover into this guy here. Into a little flatbed truck that you'd park a miner on and take off. I had this dual-tailed super shrimp that I was going to use. This is iteration 1 of the shrimp with extra batteries so that it could, oh, thank you, Janice. With that, I had this welder ship that can't stay aloft if you fill it up, so I haven't really blueprinted this one yet. It's kind of a work in progress. But welcome to the B.O.R.E. This right here is the B.O.R.E. Now the B.O.R.E. is a dual medium cargo container, not modular, mining vessel. When it docks, it turns off all of its lights, it turns off its radar, it turns off its ore detector. It's got pretty substantial speed. It's got a has a what do you call it? A projector for repairs, which I'm going to currently turn off. Heavy amount of lighting for when you were digging into stuff. We got 2 things like that. The weather is never good here. Let's go ahead and remove weather. You can come over here. I was testing some stuff. You come over here. You can definitely get some mining on. It's got terrain clear mode. It's got all the things. And the best part is when you fully load this sucker down, and I mean you get it to the brim, over 14,000 liters of stowage capacity, it will continue to stay aloft. Now, obviously not left and right, but vertically. So you need to fly this thing as vertically as possible. But you get this thing pretty much weighed down, and we're good to go. It uses just a variety of stuff. But look at that. Look at this guy. Perfectly good. It still moves pretty quick. I do have a docking camera. I'm kind of leery about the docking camera, and I'm going to tell you why. Like, I don't hate it as far as... There's a wolf right there. I think you could drill a wolf. The only problem with the way I do docking connectors typically with the remote control, now forward is down, and if you get a little too rambunctious, you see how much altitude I dropped by just pressing forward just a little bit. Like, when you're at weight, this little guy does not stop easy, so you got to be extra careful when you're using this guy. Otherwise, you're going to come down real hard, just like that. Bada boom, bada bing, turns everything off, gets you ready. That is the B.O.R.E. It stands for Basic Ore Retrieval Engine, and I frickin' love it. I built this out, 05. It's the best number in the world. Everything is either directly or indirectly related to 05, just so you know. I definitely 100% have the lights backwards. So before... Oh, good grief. That's how it happens. That is how it happens. Port is left. Left is port. Me and John talked about this because ports are red and port's the same number as left, and there's no port left. Therefore, vis-a-vis the following, I have these lights backwards, which means I'm going to have to fix the publication. That's okay. I can do that really quick. I am not worried about it. We'll get that fixed right now, and then this will never have happened, and nobody can say anything. All right, so there you go. It also has some undercarriage lights for the
fuel critical.
Just for a little bit of ambient lighting when you're going over stuff, so you can see if it's at night. I think it's definitely an excellent vehicle. I like the shape of it. I definitely enjoyed it. So this is my new build for this guy. I think it's cool looking. So give it a like, subscribe, mess with it, play with it, do what you want. I tried to. It's pretty economical. I think the only DLC blocks are the cockpit and the ore detector. No, so there's quite a bit of DSC blocks. Never mind. I'm gonna say, but you can build this in vanilla with vanilla replacements. Pretty easy to do. I wouldn't see that as a problem. Really quick, while we're doing this, I'm gonna go ahead and retake this blueprint for our dear old boar. That way I can update that guy, and then we'll delete that guy. There we go. Should be updated. Even though the screenshots will not be updated, I do not plan to go fix that. That'll just be our little Easter egg. We'll see if anybody actually notices. If they do, gold star. All right, so that's that. There was another version. This was like going to be the boar's bigger brother. I was playing around with different ideas, and I created this guy. And this, um, I think it just the problem with this is it's too heavy. It's got a big modular cargo container, um, and it with the way the thrust these flat modes thrust work, it just is too heavy. Initially, it was going to be part of this combo here. I was like, oh, I can make it so that it can fit. Even not empty, this thing struggles to keep itself from dying. So like, but it was going to be this was going to be part of this guy here, and I was going to have it set up obviously with some more weight balance. I could get this thing to, you know, do whatever. This guy too heavy for itself when it's fully loaded. This is the smaller version of this, same exact problem. This one and the bore, just so you guys know, this is an atmospheric. Is atmospheric only, but it does have a hydrogen tank and an oxygen tank, so it is constantly able to keep you healthy and alive on Mars, other planets that have atmosphere. Same with this guy. He was mapped the same way, although again, the problem is he's too heavy. So then, after bore, I finished the bore. I was like, I still want a welder, so I started building this guy. He's not done yet. But this is kind of my idea for a little welding ship. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. I think currently, I don't think it has a name, honestly. Um, but this is going to be one of those ones. He's got mag plates for the bottom so that he can um, stick to the ground and stuff like that. And this guy here, 100%, this is a full load. He can't carry any more as far as stuff goes. Well, pretty much a full load, and he is able to keep himself aloft for welding. So this little weld ship, obviously the nuclear power plant on top is just to keep the battery charged because I didn't want to have to keep trying to dock it. But yeah, this guy, he's got the docking camera as well, which I have not set up yet just because I just haven't set it up yet. So we do reverse or control, and then if we did that, we would say um, that's the weld camera. We don't want that, so we can do this. We do view, and then yeah, you could easily switch this up so that now I can do this and we can dock this thing wherever it needs to go. And then I have a weld cam because why wouldn't I have a weld cam? And that we can grab here. The weld cam is this right here, so you can see what you're welding. Turn it on. Yeah. So it's not finished yet. I'm gonna round out the top a little bit. I realized it doesn't need to be, unlike a mining ship, it doesn't need to be able to bore out the space that it occupies when it goes through a tunnel. But I liked it, like I brought it in so that when we come down for a landing, let's take a little squat real quick. Get this guy on the ground. We dampen it down. We can come over here. You can also load stuff like this. So you can load your crap in, load it back here, whatever. And this is just a straight shot right here. So goes from there to there. I also believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I'd have to, I don't know if I am or not. Let's see. Oxygen. Yeah, it's got two oxygen tanks and a hydrogen tank on this guy as well. So fully piped up so that you can get the goods um, from from your base when you need to refill all your stuff, and it'll let you do that. So yeah, this I don't have a name for this. If you guys have a name for this little buggy, you let me know. I'm super interested in it. Now, the next thing I was trying to do is I wanted to build an outpost. I wanted to prep an outpost because I was talking about in the last episode how I suck at laying out a base. I'm not good at it. I don't like, and nobody is. Craig, not Craig. Jeez, Chad is fairly correct in that like when you are starting out, you don't got all the resources, you don't have everything you need. So like having a cohesive base right out the gate, not super simple, not an easy thing to do. So I started to build like what would a small base look like, and I had started with this guy. It's pretty lofty, it's pretty big. This is the base you go to next. So I built this little outpost,
Fuel
and
low.
this is probably excessive because I have you know, what is this, five
Fuel
algae plants
critical.
plus that, and they're not on a subgrid, so they'll stay mapped up. But this is kind of my idea of like your first outpost. I even set up a vanilla, completely vanilla airlock. And I got this is I have one with and one without this little landing pad. So this little landing pad I can obviously I can't bring the little zapper over here, but I could bring the bore if I wanted to. I could bring the bore to this little outpost and other stuff. So this is what it kind of looks like. I expect this is going to be the first outpost I use when I yeet the rover at the planet. I'm going to build this outpost for that stuff. So I'm going to take you a quick tour. It has an isolated O2 tank specifically for this set here. It's got 3 buttons for going in. So you can open the airlock from inside the airlock, outside the airlock, or inside the base. And the way this works is 2 timers and 1 event controller. You come in here, orange, this light clearly indicates like, hey, light not on. Or the airlock's not on. You press this, it cycles the airlock. Boom, this door opens, we're completely sealed off. That door's off so you can't accidentally depressurize yourself, all that stuff. And then we got ourselves an air vent in here. You can clearly see where things. We got a desk, access to cargo, your healing kit, a bed. I've got set up a secondary vent controller so that when you lay in the bed, it turns the lights off so you can take a nap. Uh, and then they come back
Fuel
on when you get up.
critical.
Little storage unit for stuff. You might, I guess that looks kind of like a cooking station, but it's not. In here you have a small refinery, or the base refinery, a full assembler, cargo access panel, just to store extra stuff. 1 hydrogen tank, some supplies there, a little port so you can kind of see out so it's not all dank and dark. And then when you're done, you just come in here, press this button. It says it's cycling, the cyan says cycling, and then it's open. And there you go. I got ourselves an antenna, so it's easily findable. 1 decoy just for, that's really for looks. And then over here, same thing. I just added some of these pipings and things for looks. I wanted it to kind of look different. And then this is the oxygen tank specifically for the base itself. That oxygen tank is for the interior space, but it has an empty oxygen tank down here. And this oxygen tank is specifically to cycle the airlock. And let's take a look at how that works. And a projector block, so we can project it. How that works is pretty simple. Not simple at all. It's actually a pain in my butt. It took me a minute to get it. Basically, you have a depressurization timer. So let's just check airlock. So you have a depressurization timer. Where are my timers? So you've got a depressurization timer and a pressurization timer. Each one of these is set up sort of in the reverse of one another. So the depress timer, you would set it up to close the interior door because you're depressurizing. You're going to turn on depressurization on the air vent. You're going to turn on the oxygen tank so that the oxygen has somewhere to go. And then you're going to cut this light to aqua just saying, hey, this is depressurizing. Okay. And then your pressurization timer, same basic thing. You're going to close the exterior door because you want to pressurize the space. You're going to turn off depressurization because you're no longer sucking air out. You're trying to let it go in. You're going to turn on the tank once more so that the air can come out of it or come back into it. And then same thing, light turns aqua so you can say, hey, look, this is turning on. Okay. And then we go to the air vent. So the airlock air vent, if we come down here, basically all it's doing is acting as the switch. So when it's time to depressurize, which is trigger 1, or when the thing is pressurized, you want the exterior door to be turned off. And then when it's depressurized, you want it turned on. And then on bar 2, when the exterior door is open, when the airlock is set to depressurize, you want the exterior door to then be open. Button 3, same, but the reverse. Basically, if the pressurization is on, you want the interior door to be turned on, the exterior door to be turned off when it's depressurized. And then on the pressurization, you want to close the interior door. I'm sorry, start this over. For the other side of it, when you have the pressurization on, the interior door is to be turned on. And when it's depressurized, the interior door is turned off, meaning you can't accidentally open that and depressurize the whole base. And then on button 4, if the space is pressurized, we will open the interior door and we will turn off the oxygen tank because we don't want the oxygen tank getting any extra oxygen from the interior space because then it'll fill up and stop working. And then on button 5, basically set the airlock color to green if it's pressurized and orange if it's depressurized. That's pretty much that for the, and we're using this airlock as a switch. And then finally, we have an event controller specifically for this. And basically all it's going to do is on bar 1, we're going to, first of all, we set the event controller to be block switch on and off, and we set it to the airlock light, which is this guy inside that's turning orange, green, and cyan. And so on bar 1, or on tab 1, we will basically toggle on the depressurization timer, and then we will turn off the depressurization timer when the light's off. Okay. And bar 2, you are going to, when the light is turned on, trigger the depressurization. And then for bar 3, same but reversed. You want to turn when the light is on, you want to turn off the pressurization timer. When the light is off, you want to turn on the pressurization timer. And then in bar 4, in section 2, when the light is off, you want to trigger the pressurization timer. And that's it. That's the whole shebang. So what'll happen if it's done right and you have tank space to take the air, when you press this, it is going to shut that door, turn off the light, it will open the interior, and then turn the cargo off. And now this is locked, so you can't go in. So you press the button, same thing, cycles the whole process, depressurizes the space. Then you can press here, light turns cyan, green for it's good. The light should be coming back
Fuel
on. For some reason it's
critical.
not. That's whatever. You see this is turned on, and then the space is good. So that's, it's a, it's more complicated than it needed to be. And honestly, if you don't have a tank specifically to dump this airspace out of, that's when it gets dumb. That's when it gets frustrating because apparently, if this thing can't effectively dump all the air out of this space, what will happen is when you press this button, it never acts as this space is depressurized, so it never opens this thing up. It's it's maddening, truthfully. So that's it. This is gonna be a little outpost base. I just called it hub with landing or hub with pad V1. I plan to build it on the alien planet when we eat ourselves at the alien planet, which is where I think I've decided to go. That's kind of the whole thing. The other thing I was going to show you, what else can we do? We got a little bit of time, so let me hop over and I'll show you the next thing. And guys, you let me know if you want to see any more of this or you want a more in-depth setup. We can do that whole setup process for that thing, this airlock, this vanilla airlock. And I didn't use the cheesy slope block thing in front of the door to make the airlock fixed regardless. I'm trying to be good about it. Um, I don't like that this is concrete, but that's okay. We're going to live with it. All right, so let me catch you here in a second, and I'll show you the next thing. Whoa, space. We're back. The final frontier. Welcome back to the 2025 series. So, what you guys have missed. So, this is in a test platform, so you'll have to ignore the second adder right there, but, and that vehicle. Um, well, no, that's actually been built. So, the things that have been done off screen. Effectively, I have built out our rover and got it set up. It's just recharging here to get yeeted at the planet. That's set there. Um, this is the OG adder, which will be being modified, but I had to build a copy of it. Things I have done. So if you come down to here, and we're on our little platform, and I'm going to give us the power of raw really quick so we can get some sunlight on this bad boy. Maybe right there. All right. So one of the things I did. Oh man, it's been too long since we've been in space. Look at the new skybox, guys. We haven't even had a chance to look at the new skybox. That's incredible. All right, let's go take a look. Let's turn off all of those things. We don't need to see those right now. So, one of the things I did is I went ahead and I wanted to be able to get to what was going to be our greenhouse. And I super exposed it because I thought sunlight was necessary. And this was before Chad had informed me otherwise. So, we have this incredibly long set of stairs. Walk all the way over here. We can look at our Elder Dagron setup. Then we come this way, walk up here, and then we go through this perilous, very long staircase that I should probably go ahead and put side rails on, but I haven't yet. Same with this guy here, side rails, but I haven't. This guy has side rails. Come up here, keep walking, Keep walking. We're going, we're going, we're going, we're going, we're going. Boom, we're at the greenhouse. Now, this playthrough obviously has the auto door mod closing, and I also have very much cheated this doorway so that it never depressurizes because I'm cheap and chintzy. This is our greenhouse. Um, you notice we have quite a bit of plots ready to go. We have no vegetables. I don't think I added some decorations of these blocks here. No vegetables have been garnered or gained or any of that stuff. I don't know why this isn't. Let's go ahead and what is going on here? Should be this color there. Nope. Why aren't you copying that color? Anyway, nope, that's not right. I don't. Oh, I know what's happening. Dang it, darn canugit. Let's go back to this. That's the color I was looking for. There we go. Okay, so yeah, so this is our greenhouse. So here we've got our hydroponics. Now I will say I did a similar thing in this guy. I wanted to have constant ice flow, so what I did is I've cut this section of the base off from the rest of the base. These are not connected. You can see right there. Oh gosh, the disconnect is right there. So none of this section here, which is all of our antenna or all of our algae and everything like that is bringing algae or oxygen to the space. So all of these oxygen farms and algae farms are specifically supplying the greenhouse. That's it. And then we have this ice drill, same exact thing. There's a cargo container, this cargo container specifically. When it gets to a certain percentage, the drill will turn off and then we don't have a problem anymore. So once everything has been planted and it's ready to harvest, we come over here and we can extend both of these things. We have this wonderful system going. Our caution lights are blinking. They should probably blink more rapid than that. Let's see what we got here. What do we set this to? Let's do this, and then we'll set the blink offset to 32%. And then, yeah, there we go. So we've got this thing. This is our combine basically. And it'll go through and it'll slurp up all the stuff. Now, I did have some stuff planted in here to test to make sure that the water levels were high and everything was good. I will say, from that perspective, I definitely killed a set of plants. And then the red button brings both pistons back, and this place is airtight. And this is going to be where we do our farming. So we've got obviously, we'll probably have an alien planet farm as well, an alien ant farm, you might say, to collect and get stuff ready and get enough seeds to come back with. So that's what this is going to look like. This is in the game. I built all this. I obviously have tons of resources in this playthrough, so this isn't really an issue. Now, the big thing that we have to do, so that's this space. I think that's pretty good. How many plots is this? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I guess I could have done 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21, 20, nope, 22, 24, 26, 28. 28 plots is what I've got counted. Does that sound right? There's probably a way to check that. Farm plots. Yeah, we have that many. However many this is. Anyways, we've got... my sick brain is still sick. So we've got a couple of air vents, stuff like that. So this place should be plenty of oxygenated. It is a thin line. If we ever get attacked to this base, we will just lose the crop. That's 100% something will happen. Let's go take a look from the outside. Come in here. I at least want to let that close. I'm being cautious, even though I don't have to be, technically. So that's what the outside looks. Keeping the motif of the base a little bit. It's a little more run down up here. Yeah, just still a design. We've got oxygen farms right there, and then we have quite a few algae farms. And then our solar doing the work. So the reactor doesn't have to do all the work. And that's kind of where we're at with that guy. Um, this is the Yeetus 9000 adder. Now I've done some refreshes. I don't know if you remember the adder. Let's go take a quick walkthrough on that guy. You pop in. The adder has, you know, med bay, this thing, a bed over there, all this stuff, dead engineer still. I probably should have cleaned that up. And that's the adder, right? This is how this boy looks. Well, what we can do now, go over here, kind of get an idea from the outside. By comparison, I went ahead and slapped the Factorum thing on that. And then we open this guy here. It's got an event controller. This event controller is specifically for launching the yeeting of the thing. I still have a med bay because I thought that might be useful. I have a crate for carrying guns, tanks, and stuff like that. We come back here, cargo container to carry parts and stuff. Still have a shower, one last shower before you get stuck down on planet. We go up topside, jump off. We take a walk through the wild side. I don't know why all my engines are being weird, but they are. So we're gonna come out. I think we have two event controllers. We have this guy, and then let's see. There we go. So when we get this guy docked up, now this thing can travel without the rover on it. Can go. I want to say it can max out at like 6,000 kilometers. And there's an easier way to do this. If we do this, we click here, we jump drive 6,000 kilometers. So that's what this looks like. It's got a little charging thing. So once we're parked above the planet, these light guys here are going to be, they'll be able to give the thing a charge. It has one small reactor on it, which will have reactor fluid in it. Reactor fluid, that's not the right term. We'll have a reactor fluid in it. It's got a timer. So here's the plan. We're gonna have a a guy. We're gonna switch that to small mode. We're gonna get this guy locked on. So that's what's gonna happen. And let's just assume that this is just going to be a test bed. So what we're going to do is this. I need a control panel, I think. I don't think I have one of those. You know, we could just do a little event controller. Okay. And this event controller is also going to be handled. I'll probably handle it inside there, but let's go ahead and get into this thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. I need some ion thrusters. So this is going to be attached to the top of the rover, right? And then what's going to happen, we're going to go to this event controller. And we're going to say upon connector unlock. So we're going to say connector. And we're going to say upon the disconnection, so selected. Oh, and then the next thing we're going to need is ion. So now we can do this. Event controller. Select action. So when connected, ion engines are off. Disconnected, they're going to be on. And then a second one, set thrust override 100. Confirm. Okay, now the other event controller, there's a timer. And this timer is called the automation timer block, which doesn't. So it's going to extend that piston to 9.0. Now, the event controller on board this ship, called launch event controller, basically says when connected, disconnect, but the event section is piston position 9.8. So what's going to happen? We're going to have the rover on here. We're going to get into position. We're going to fly over to the planet. We're going to find a place we want to shoot this thing at the planet. And then we are going to trigger now. That's going to yeet it off and look at it go. And that's it. And we're never going to catch that thing again. That's the whole thing. So we're going to set that on our ship, and then me and this guy, we're just going to fly aimlessly through space, through all time and space. And it's going to be so great. Uh, yeah, and that's the whole thing. We're just going to take off towards base, towards planet, and then obviously once those get an atmosphere, what happens? We just come back. That's it. We turn them off, and then we have some parts on the ground. That's going to be the whole thing. I haven't tested it yet. That's as far as I've gotten. So initially, what I wanted to do and what I tried to do, and I'll just go grab another. We'll just go do another thing real quick. Initially, my plan was this, and this is but whatever it is, whatever you want it to be, it is what it is. Um, but initially, my plan was a basically. I don't know why I'm Mario right now, but here we are, reverse. So so initially, my plan was this. I was going to get this thing plopped on there. So the initial plan was just to trigger the timer block, right? We just say trigger now. It shoots, and then it disconnects in 9.8, and then that is the momentum we got. But the fastest a piston can extend is 5 meters a second, which is pretty abysmal. Um, and and the reality there being that like this, I mean, eventually I'll pick up speed as I go towards the planet, but having little thrusters kick on as like a detach, like second stage, that's cool. I don't care who you are. I'm enjoying it. So this is the Adder Mark II. It has it doesn't have any more batteries, no more thrust. I didn't change anything. I basically added an O2 tank, a hydrogen tank, I think is what I added. Hydrogen tank, these fins for charging. It has a reactor to help charge. We'll get this thing charged, and then effectively we're going to, well, this thing's just going to sit dormant in space, and hopefully that's enough to keep it all going um, in a static position in perpetuity. That's, and if it dies, then that's fine. It is what it is. It's a vessel. Now, does that mean that we sacrifice our sweet, sweet jump drive? It does. It does mean we're sacrificing this jump drive, but that is part and parcel for becoming great farmers. Now, the real pain, or this is a problem for future me. Once we get this guy down to the planet, everything's going to be super cool. We're going to have a cool vehicle on the planet. We're going to do all the fun things. We're going to have this Prototech refinery, so we're refining stuff when we get there. It's going to be radical, super cool, whatever, 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 whatever. It's going to be neat. I'm going to love it. But I'm also, if I don't get this thing back to space, I'm giving up a Prototech refinery as well. So, um, yeah, guys, I'm excited. I'm excited to check this thing out. I'm excited to do this. This is my cockamamie plan. Um, I think it fits my motif quite well. Um, I don't know if you guys have suggestions. I want you to let me know. Like I said, this is coming out on Saturday, so you guys can get a little sneak peek of the plans and, to get us ready to go back to 2025. I think we've done enough in the Apex survival to get an understanding of how it works. Got to check all the stuff out, which I really enjoyed. I thought was cool. I don't know why I'm docking this up on a test save. I really don't need to be, but that's okay. So, yeah, that is really loud in there. Good grief. Um, So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this. Let me know what you think of my plan. I love it. Like I said, I haven't tested it. The weight of this thing is not. This is not a light ship. So if we come into here, oh Lord, if we come into here, this is a 14 million ton. That doesn't feel right. Yeah, 14 million tons. This is a heavy boy. It's got a bed for sleeping, survival kit. We've already talked about this. Full kitchen. I've already kind of done a walkthrough on this thing. Full kitchen, plushie, all that stuff. pretty cool. I like this rover. It's one of my favorite designs I've ever done. I like the way it looks, but it's heavy. So those four little thrusters, we may have to expand that. We may have to make that, I don't know, six little thrusters, seven little thrusters, whatever we need to kind of test it and get it going. I imagine six will probably be enough, but that does leave this piece stranded in space. That's okay too. It just means we've got to worry about that. It's the Adder V2 jumper, fellas. All right, guys, that has been this ridiculous tangent. I appreciate you guys coming along with me. I will pretend that didn't happen. All that oxygen I just lost. I appreciate you guys coming along. Thanks for following me through the Apex tangent stuff. It's pretty fun to mess around in start mode again. Part of the game, man. A lot of space engineers, I tend to have more fun at the start of a game than I do towards the end of a game because the resource grind, the oopses and the upses, and yeah, I had a good time. I had a good time. I love the new update. I'm excited. I don't want to in the 2025 series. I think this is just going to be a great tangent. We're going to send clone number. Oh Lord, I don't even know how many clones do we think. I think I forgot to do some death counting. If we get into the Malafor really quick. I know what you're saying, Chad. I already have a ship that can eat this thing at the planet. Why would I do another one? But look, I'm a builder. We're just going to add a couple extra deaths, knowing that that probably happened. But so we're on clone. What is this? 4, 8, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, 46. So clone 47 is going to get sent to the great beyond. And he's gonna bring us back the sweet, sweet, sweet goodness of vegetables and fruits and spider meat. And the only thing I really need to do now is I got to figure out why spiders aren't spawning on my 2025 save. That's going to bear some testing. I'm going to keep messing with that. I think I've turned off all the mods I thought were conflicting. I don't know. So that's just a whole thing. But if you guys enjoyed this, you know what to do. We're going to get back to 2025 series. This was the last of the Apex Tangent. I really hope you enjoyed that little snippet. If you guys want to see more Apex stuff, I can maybe run a tandem series, do something like that. If you don't want to see more and you just want to get back in 2025 and see how the alien planet treats me, we can do that too. I appreciate everybody. Let's see if we can wave. For some reason we can't. That's strange. Whatever. I would have expected that we could, so we'll give it a little stretch. And I'll catch you later, taters. And as always, be kind. Bye.